Husky football. Brought to you by Seafirst Bank. Expect excellence for all your banking needs at Seafirst. And by the brewers of Mountain Fresh Rainier and Rainier Light. Two great tastes in beer. And Rainier's Western Washington distributors. And by your local Puget Sound Honda dealers, where the quality goes on and on.
Good evening, I'm Bruce King. We welcome you to Husky football along with head coach Don James. The Huskies now 6-0 in the season as they defeat Stanford yesterday by a score of 37-15. And one good thing about that game, offense came alive, scored 3 touchdowns. You have to feel good about that.
Well, I thought there was improvement. We had a lot of respect for Stanford's defense, especially their front seven, and it wasn't easy, but we did get some things done.
Defense made a couple of errors. They're human, I think. They made a couple of mistakes. You gave up some yards.
Well, I think a couple of things. First of all, I think the running game was affected by not having Joe Krakowski or Tim Amber in there, and I think there were three major errors in pass defense and zone coverage. In other words, it looked as though maybe J.C. Pearson was way out of position, but he was actually covering 15, 20 yards out of his zone trying to help someone else.
Concern you that they were able to run the ball against you? Now, I know you had the 2 inside linebackers out, but...
Well, I do have a good line, and they have an excellent running back in Brad Muster. So I don't, I'm not happy with it, but I think, again, if we would have had our regulars in there most of the way, I think we could have done a little bit better job than maybe we did.
Now, they tell me you had a lucky horseshoe. What is the story about that? You got a horseshoe now, a lucky horseshoe you're carrying with you?
Well, it's just someone gave me a horseshoe before the game, and I felt as though I couldn't throw it away, so I put it in my briefcase. I brought it home.
You will? You're going to carry it around in that briefcase?
Well, I'm not sure I'm going to take it on the road in 4 weeks, but right now it'll be at home in my office for the next 3 for sure.
Now, I guess the big question we all want to ask, Texas-Oklahoma tie, 15-15, and they were 1-2 in one poll, 1-3 in the other. You could be #1 in the country this week. What are your feelings about that, and do you think that'll happen?
I like I say, I really don't know, and I think the players handled that very well after the game and with the press. I tried to. We really don't care. It's really not that important. We've said so many times it's redundant that there's one poll, and that's January 2nd. That's important. That's the only one. We're going to get ready to play Oregon.
You didn't vote your team in the top 15 last week, and you said you may vote them 14th or 15th this week?
Well, last week I didn't vote them in the top 15 because I didn't think we deserved to be there. Now, this week's another story.
Okay. Well, you watch the game. You decide for yourself. Highlights of the Washington-Stanford game right after. Likes to kick the ball off. They defer to the second half. That surprised me a little bit because they won the toss.
Well, I think both teams were going to do the same thing. We had definitely wanted to defer. We were hoping that we could play defense. There was a little wind up there, not a lot, but we wanted to go with our defense first.
Come out throwing the football right away to Tony Roten.
Well, when they deferred, we thought, well, we must go to work with it, take the ball, and so we get 8 yards on the first down, come right back with a little pitch sweep to Rick Finney.
He picks up 3 in a first down. Washington ball, 1st and 10 now at their own 31. Jock Robinson, he had a pretty good day running the ball, didn't get anything here.
Now, we have a loss of 1 here, but we really had a count, mismatch on count, but they did a good job of playing it.
Just miss. That's to Jock Robinson on the outside on 2nd and 11.
Well, Jock is capable of catching that. He's got pretty good hands, and he usually makes that catch.
3rd and 11. Millen throwing a screen pass to the outside to Robinson. It's going to come up 5 yards short, and you're going to have to kick it away.
Yeah, I thought we could get more out of that play when we had 3 blockers out there. Of course, 1 blocker fell down, and they recovered very quickly.
Thane Cleland to kick a 30-yard kick, not his best to start it off, and Stanford at their own 35.
Well, that's 30 yards into the wind, so...
That's right, that wind was blowing.
It really wasn't... It was kind of a fairly strong high wind. It didn't affect the quarterbacks, I don't think.
Stanford comes out running the ball, and that's Scott for 3, and they're a pretty good running team.
Well, they are... the thing that they've established this year is the run. We got Meamber plus a lot of guys on that tackle. Here's a pretty good play for them. 6 more yards. Kelly Holmes and Meamber on the tackle.
Muster's going to have some kind of day. You keep an eye on that guy. 3rd and 1 at the 44. Muster again, straight ahead.
Yeah, we're real solid here, and we get Kelly Holmes and Alford in on it, but Muster is big. He's 6'4", probably 210, 215, but he's excellent speed, and he runs up in there aggressively. That's the key thing.
Buckley throwing to Scott and threw it behind him, incomplete. So now brings up 2nd and 10 at the 46.
Kelly on the play, good coverage.
Here's Muster again, big hole up the middle. He breaks the tackle, and I thought he was gone.
10 Peoples can run fast also, and we did miss the tackle. I think realistically it should have been a 12-yard gain. They've got people blocked pretty well up front. Now we missed the tackle there, and that just, they're going to pick up, well, there's 15 more, there's 20, that's 25 more after the missed tackle.
34 yards on the play, and Stanford in scoring position. 1st and 10 now at the Washington 20. Outside, Scott had left in for no gain. The defense plays very well
Yeah,
here.
this is a counter trap, and Joe Kelly just reads it. There's a little crease in there, and he takes the crease, and he meets it in the backfield.
2nd and 10 at the 20. Buckley to throw. A pretty good rush on him.
Yeah, Steve Albert had good pressure, and Buckley just throws it away. We've got coverage also.
So 3rd and 10 now at the 20. This is where that Husky defense plays so well.
Well, we got a couple of plays in here where no gains. You get a no gain on the first running play, then they've got to throw. Now they threw 2 incomplete passes.
Harmon kicks a 37-yard field goal. It is good, and Stanford out in front of Washington by a score of 3-0 early in the first quarter, as you see. So Harmon to kick it off again. And with the wind behind him, he drills this pretty good. That's a good kick.
Yeah, and we do the thing we should do. The odds are against you, getting out past the 20, so 10 people stayed in.
Jock Robinson for 4.
We come with an off-tackle play. Good blocks by Finney and Robertson. Like I say, it's a far cry better than last week, where we just had so many first down plays with 0 yards. Robinson again at tackle with Roten and Soldat making good blocks. Just a 5-yard gain.
3rd and 1 now at the 29. Jock, he'll get the first down for you. 1st and 10 at the 31. Important now for you to put a drive together after they get on the scoreboard.
Well, it really helps you because you're facing the wind, and if you can use up some clock and get field position back, we've got to try and help our defense with field position.
2nd and 10 at the 31. Millen going to Danny Green up the middle for 5. Now, is that just designed to pick up about that?
It's just a 5-yard inside middle hook. You hope maybe you can get a couple more on the run like we did with Tony Roten. It's basically the same pass. Now, here's a crossing pattern. They're in man-to-man coverage, and Tony Roten's got good speed, and he beats their strong safety. He picks up 34.
Oh, that's a good play. Any question about Tony Roten being healthy? He turns it upfield here.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit better each week. He's getting more practice time, and just had a ton of injury problems this fall. And he's starting to play up to his capabilities. He can be a good tight end.
Washington 1st and 10 at the 30 after a penalty against Stanford. Jock Robinson puts on a burst of speed and gets 5.
Well, they're playing a defense that really closes down on the short side, and Jock took it outside. It's good, tough running by Rick Finney, and this again is what he's capable of doing. That's Maher, Ernestine, and Robertson all had good blocks.
6 yards and a first down. 1st and 10 at the 19. Cookie Jackson in the game now.
That's a toss sweep. No gain. Stanford played it pretty well.
2nd and 10 at the 19. Jock Robinson again breaks a tackle, spins off another. Look at this move. Oh, look at this.
Now, that's good extra effort running right there, and this is what Jock is capable of doing. This is a draw play, and we get a little help, and then he has to dodge some people, and he breaks a tackle there, keeps his balance, dodges one, and gets up the sideline. I thought he might break it right here.
Yes.
If he had just a little more room, he might have.
About one more step, he might have gone all the way. 10 yards and a first down. 1st and goal at the 9 for Washington. Robinson, this time they played well.
Yeah, they handle our sweep fairly well. The toss sweep, they did a pretty good job of.
2nd and goal at the 10.
This was a little go route against bump and run coverage, and I believe Mark could have gotten this if we had just taken a couple yards off the ball.
3rd and goal. Frustrating now because you can't get it in. Throwing to Mark Patterson for a touchdown. That's a good throw.
Yeah, Mark really works into the corner well, and the key thing here is that Hugh had a defender right in his face. He hung in there very well, made an excellent throw.
And Jaeger adds the extra point. Washington now out in front by a score of 7-3.
An excellent drive and a very good confidence builder. The problems we had last week, we need to come out and prove that we can move the ball, and especially after they scored, we came right back and answered it.
You almost got the football back here.
If they had fumbled one more time, we'd have had it.
One more time, I'll tell you, it was flying out there. They come back with Muster right up the middle. He picks up 3 yards.
We've got great field position now. They start on their 17. Small meander on that tackle.
So it's 2nd and 7 at the 20. Buckley, a throw to the outside, and the receiver fell down.
Yeah, then J.C. Pearson fell over him. I think J.C. felt like he knew if he'd kept his feet, he'd intercepted.
Buckley to throw again. It's good defensive play.
That was a penalty, though.
But it was that's right.
And he did hit him early. He was playing the ball, but he did make early contact.
1st and 10. Intercepted by Kelly, and watch this. What about an old running back? He can go to the ball.
Anybody going to catch him, I tell you, he can run. The thing here is that he just played the underneath route well. I don't think that Buckley saw him. I think he saw Freddie Small, but I don't think he saw Joe in the split race.
Now, quarterback and Joe Kelly. Kelly's going to win. That's a good play.
That is just an outstanding play. You talk about a play that gives a team a lift. That's just incredible.
Oh, yes. Adds the extra point, and now 14-3 at the end of the first quarter, and that was really it in the first quarter. What do you think? Now, you felt pretty good now because the way your defense has played, even giving up that big play.
Well, the nice thing is I thought our defense could move the ball and our offense could move the ball. But now we did have some problems on the first drive, but we're not out of the woods yet.
Relationship between the defense and the offense. Is it good? I mean, the defense has been playing so well, giving the offense great field position. Sometimes the offense can't move it.
Well, it's our responsibility as coaches and the leaders on the team to make sure that we have good relationship. As I mentioned to them last week, I said, I can remember the 80 season where the offense carried the defense the whole year. Then the 81 season, the defense had to do the same thing. So those things will happen. We'll have tough games, and again, we've got 3 parts. 2 of them have got to work.
We'll be back with the second quarter right after this. Washington with the football again. Millen on 3rd and 1 keeps the ball and can't get a first down.
No, I thought maybe he stayed a little too low in with the lineman instead of coming up a little bit. But in some cases, if you come up too high, then the backer's there to get you. But we just got to mix it up. It's a play that didn't work.
It's Harry with the ball, gets 4. Clipping against Stanford. Is going to take the ball now back to the Stanford 8.
That was a 53-yard kick by Jeff, and I think that's our thing. That's a great thing about that. You know, you see a little wind advantage. That's an excellent field position advantage for us.
So Muster picks up 3. 2nd and 7. Scott fumbles, recovered by Jackson.
And this was caused by Reggie Rogers. I'll get it right. Reggie Jackson plays baseball, doesn't he?
That's right. Rogers knocks it loose right there. You see the ball loose, and there's Vesti over to recover it.
You talked about a big play and an advantage for your offense. Look where we're starting here. And this was one of the things that happened to Stanford last week against UCLA. They had breaks like this.
Gain of only 1. Cookie to the outside, so it's 2nd and 9 at the 14. Walt Hunt.
We come back with a dive play. It's really blocked pretty well. If Walt would have been able to keep his feet a little better, he might have gotten in the end zone. You can see he's stumbling right there.
Now he's down before the ball comes out.
Yeah, the ball comes out real late. There's no question about that not being a fumble.
So 1st and goal now at the 3 after the 11-yard gain. Cookie Jackson straight ahead for only 1.
Get a couple of good blocks, but we just, there's one man that is freed up, and he gets the cookie and makes the play.
2nd and goal.
Yeah, I think that's a score right there. I don't think, CBS film, there's just no way that shouldn't be a score.
3rd and goal.
We get it on this play, so we're okay. We're off the hook.
So Jock Robinson goes in. It's Garcia on the left side again. Bang. He powers his way into the end zone. So the Huskies now out in front by a score of 20-0. Jaeger adds the extra part, 21-3, I should say. So it's 21-3 Washington, and you're almost getting another break on the kickoff.
Yeah, the ball was out 2 or 3 times on the kickoff, and our guys will hit you if you're going to bring him back.
Yeah, watch Tim People.
Yeah, he really gets caught in there, and that's close. And I think they probably got it. I think you can see they've got a man that's got a little bit of an edge right there. But that would have been another great turnover.
Stanford gets the ball. Buckley to pass. Throwing to Scott. That's good for 5 yards.
Pretty good coverage out in the flat by J.C. Pearson.
2nd and 5. Now at the 29.
This is straight drop back, and we've got pretty good routes, pretty good coverage. Buckley decides to run, and you can see he's tackled there by Steve Albert.
Look for him from the end zone camera. Steve Albert just spins him around. A little difference in size there, too.
But yeah, Steve can run good, and he's a good young player. Sophomore, making very good progress.
3rd and 6. Buckley throws. Intended for Scott.
And we were fairly good shape with Joe on the coverage, but I think Scott probably could have had it. He had both hands on it.
4th and 6. Robinson to punt, and Milas back. Almost breaks this one.
He gets tripped up right there and loses a shoe, but I thought he might get a little bit more out of it. He got 13. That's a pretty good return.
Now, was he back returning punts because of...
Well, Danny's had that sore elbow.
And, it didn't hurt him on this play, though.
Came right back with a kind of a...
What do you call this play when you flip it?
Well, we just call it a 17 flip. We run a 17 play, and then we flip it back. Some people call it a flea flicker. I don't, but call whatever you want. It works. Successful for 48 yards.
Green's really disappointed he didn't score.
Yeah, he lost his balance.
Yeah, and he lost his win. Jackson left guard. Loss of 1. Didn't lose his win. The wind was blowing.
Yeah, they're pretty sturdy in there by Stanford on that play.
2nd and goal. Yeah, we missed that. Now it's 3rd and goal. Millen on a keeper. Now he scores the touchdown, but you're going to have holding called against him.
Excellent second effort play by Hugh, but we do get a holding call in there. Someplace in line, it's really hard to see it. And now Hugh makes a mistake here, which we would rather not see him do. Rick Finney's on the spot and really helps us. This would have taken us out of a a position to get points. He's got to lock the ball away, all the way away. Basically, down here, we just leave you step up and throw the ball out of the end zone.
Don't do anything with it. Jagger comes in, kicks the field goal, a 42-yarder, and Washington now leads by a score of 24-3. And now he's kicked a field goal in 15 consecutive games. It's Pac-10 record, tying that record, and a Washington record.
Well, he's got a lot of games left, too.
Oh, he does. He's only a sophomore. Jagger to kick it off.
Scott elects to bring it out, and it's not a good choice. He only gains 13 yards. Jay Roberts and Bo Yates, two freshmen in on the tackle.
So 1st and 10 at the 13. Muster. You covered that pretty well if he gains 3.
It's a draw play, and they gain 3. We got Holmes and Kelly coming off on the tackle.
2nd and 7 at the 16. Buckley to throw, and Joe Kelly, I think, is the one who's going to end up with the interception.
It was on the ground. It was tipped by Snelson, the freshman tight end. And Joe just very, very wisely stays with the football. You know, it's still alive, and he stayed with it even though he's on the ground. 1st and 10
for Washington. Jackson, gain of only 1. Now, you should have scored a touchdown probably the last time you had it, and maybe this time too.
Yeah, that 35 points up there would have really made it comfortable in the second half. But as it is, we're plugging away, getting some work done. We come back to that bootleg pass and Millen to Hunt for 12. That's a pretty good game.
So 1st and goal at the 9. Walt Hunt for 1.
A little counter play in there. Not much there.
2nd and goal.
It's a rollout by Hugh. It's he's just throwing it away. Yeah.
Okay.
This is basically what he probably should have done on that last play when he fumbled.
3rd and goal. Now, are you just setting up the field goal here?
We're not in very good shape here, and rather than throw it and take ourselves out of a scoring opportunity, we run a draw. If we can get it, fine. If not, we're in good shape. Get the 3 points.
Short of the 1st down. Jagger in to kick. A 22-yard field goal is good. Washington leads 27-3. Late in the 2nd quarter at Stanford yesterday afternoon, a crowd about 44,000. Really a super day for football, except for the wind, I guess.
Jeff really hits that when he gets it out of the end zone. But so they'll start a drive on the 30.
Muster. Again for 12. Big guy. He wasn't even a starter, a couple of games ago.
Well, he'll never be out of the lineup now.
No, I don't.
The rest of his career. Toss sweep, Small and Rogers on the tackle. He cut back on us, and I think some of our inexperience in there caused that. We got Jimmy Rogers out there just going to get another interception. A 5-yard return. He's just sitting out there in the flat. Apparently Buckley didn't see him.
I think he had a hand in his face. I think the defense, that could have been Ronnie Holmes in there.
And that always helps the interceptions. Put pressure on the quarterback.
Millen to Jones for 5. 2nd and 5 at the 44.
It's Rod Jones on a delay, tight end delay, and it's just, again, it's throwing underneath of zone coverage.
Rick Fenny, he's hit hard.
Yeah,
Gets over the yard.
Yeah, they're really up in there in good shape on that one. Got a couple guys not blocked.
3rd and 4 at the 43. Millen again. It throws out of bounds to Danny Green. So instead of getting a point on the scoreboard and moving the football, you have to give it up.
I think he could have released that ball quicker to Danny. He was there, he had the route, but Danny was actually did not have possession of the ball when his foot hit the line, so there's no way it was going to be a completion.
Fair catch by Harry. Yes, it was.
Yeah, excellent. Anytime you can start him, make him go 90 yards, you've got good kicking game.
And a wild final series here. The final series at the half. That starts out with Muster for 6.
Miles and Tofono on the tackle.
So 2nd and goal at the 16. Buckley, he's going to lose 1.
Albert and Famono on the tackle. And I'm not sure if that was a quarterback draw or not. They ran the true quarterback draw a couple times.
3rd and 5. Buckley forward now, looks down the field. And this is going to be complete for 55 yards.
See, J.C. Pearson had the whole right side of the field. J.C. right now is 20 yards out of his zone helping somebody else. And this was a real serious breakdown in our pass defense.
Obviously something you'll work on this week. 1st and 10 at the 30. Buckley, incomplete.
Yeah, this, again, just trying to hit Muster right down the middle of the 2-deep zone.
2nd and 10 at the 30, and this is where the defense holds. Ooh, look at that hit.
Good blitzing scheme right there. Joe Kelly comes free. You see there's Freddie Small. Now here comes Joe Kelly. Bang, got him. It's like Tony Lewis, Ron Hadley, quite a few people in on it.
3rd and about 18. Buckley to throw again, almost intercepted.
Good pressure again, and you can see they wanted to set up a screen, and they just couldn't get it set up because of that pressure.
Buckley to throw on 4th down. Pressure again, throws, knocked away by J.C. Pearson.
Yeah, J.C.'s in good shape, and he had as good an opportunity, as good a chance of catching it as Muster did. Almost made the play.
So Washington will take over. 21 seconds to go in a half. First and 10 at the 38. And Millen to throw, and that's going to be picked off by Stanford. And watch what happens to the ball.
It's a little wild here. It was not a very wise decision on my part to let him throw, but you know, we were trying to give you know, Hugh as much chance as we can to throw. There was much opportunity and much work, and just a mistake that we can't have. He learns something, I think, every time he does this. But this really put our defense under pressure, which they shouldn't have had.
Well, now, if you thought that play was something, here's Stanford's chance to throw and score. Will Washington come back? Watch the defense. Buckley throwing deep.
Good play by Wesley Jackson. He really went up and took the ball away. That's just an excellent effort. We would rather not be pulling these kind of things, because this is what happens. You know, it gets sloppy out there, and if you're behind and that's the last chance, the only way to win a game, that's fine. Keep the ball alive, but we don't teach this and don't want it.
You don't. Wouldn't imagine you would. Well, everybody's watched California do it. See what happened with California? Now everybody said, well, you know, there's always a chance to score. I guess we do something like this. Reggie comes up with the football. As the half ends, the score 27-3 in favor of Washington at the half. Now, what were your feelings? You went in the locker room, and what did you say to your ball club?
I think the key thing with a large lead at halftime is you have to get your players tuned into to playing an even game in the second half. In other words, you're talking in terms of it's a 0-0 game. You want to go out and win the second half, and try definitely not to have a let-up.
And you worry about that, the let-up, I can imagine, too, when you get out. When you dominate like this, and you're leading 27-3.
Well, you know, you also let up for some other reasons. You let up because you change, you know, you get a little more conservative, I think, in your signal calling offensively and defensively, and you're starting to protect a lead rather than really trying to go out and build on one. Even though you got a 27-3 lead, you're still not as exotic as you might have been.
Concern you the last 3 times the offense had the ball? I mean, you get a couple of field goals out of it, but you know, you're not able to take it in and score?
Well, yeah, it does, but it also would concern me more if we're down there and coming off the field with nothing on the board. I'm a great believer in when you get inside the plus 15, we just say must score, and I think over the long haul, a lot of games have been lost because people were down there trying to go for sevens and instead of at least coming out with something.
So the Huskies lead Stanford by a score of 27-3 at halftime. We'll be back with our halftime feature right after this moment. But first, here's Rick Meaders' halftime feature.
For the Huskies so far this season, the name of the game has been defense. And when the Washington defense is on the field, a name you hear frequently is Jim Rogers. A senior strong safety from Aloha, Oregon, Rogers usually can be found somewhere around the football. Finally.
I've been waiting a long time to actually start at strong safety. I started the last 2 games last year at weak safety, and I never felt quite as comfortable as I do now at strong safety. And like I said, I've been waiting a long time, so I'm going to make the most of it this year.
Maybe he's making up for lost time. Rogers missed most of the '82 season with a broken arm and sat out the first 3 games last year. He says now it was a learning experience.
I learned how to become patient, and it really is a test of your patience going through it. And I think the key to it is how you're going to handle the whole thing, the frustration and not being able to get out there and play when you think you should, and it's really important on how you handle it. I try to let the younger guys know that are going through the same thing. Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
Football is his first priority, but this former first baseman kept one eye on the World Series earlier this week. Rogers shares an apartment with former Husky Lynn Madsen, now with the New Jersey Generals of the USFL. Jim spends most of his spare time, however, in film study. Forget the Padres and Tigers. Focus on Stanford, this week's opponent.
You have to look at what kind of routes they run, their individual, you know, receivers, how they look, how they run, how backs run, and you know, if they're going to run straight up and down, you can zoom in on them that much harder if they don't have any moves, and then say if you're a back that gets a blitz or crash a lot, and you have to look at the situation over and over on what you would do if the backs came out a certain way, and I just can't get enough film study in.
It's paid off for Rogers, who's come up with big plays for the Huskies every week. He was the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Week for his performance against Michigan.
You know, the Michigan game, of course, was a big highlight in my career. And one thing that was funny is when I had a penalty out of bounds over there, because I had a lot of respect for Beauchamp, but Beckler, and I've seen him grow, you know, watch his teams grow when I was growing up and such. And when I had that penalty out of bounds, which really wasn't that aggressive of a penalty, he was standing over there waving his finger at me and yelling at me, and I just kind of had to sit there and take it all in so I could remember it. And I think that was kind of funny.
There's nothing funny about Rogers on the field. He's all business. A leader on this football team. He wants his last year to be the best.
Being my only shot at starting, like I said, I want to make the most of it. But also with this team, there's a lot of people that really want to win badly, that haven't played too much in the past. And I think that if you look at our schedule, we've got a fairly good schedule to do something special with this season. So I think if we just keep taking it game by game, that something real good might come out of it.
Oh, it might. Jimmy Rogers, what a year you're having. Important part of your defense, isn't he?
Yes, from a lot of ways. Run support, pass defense, and also leadership.
Now, did you, going into this game, did you talk with your ball club at all about what happened in 1982 when you were 7-0 and you get beat by Stanford down there? Was that brought up prior to the game? Did you mention it to everyone?
We don't, you know, I've gone over this many times. We don't dwell a lot on history. If we can learn a lesson from it, if we've gone and done something that we shouldn't have done or we were not mentally prepared, sure, we'll touch on it and try to learn from it. But again, we just don't dwell on a lot of things that have happened 2, 4, 6, 8 years ago.
Defense is playing so well. You have, what, 17 interceptions? You had, what, 13 all last year? Reason for that? You can put your finger on something and say, okay, this is the reason we've got a half a season to go and you already have 17 interceptions.
Well, I think you start, first of all, with underneath coverage, and you know, they're good, quick people. We've had solid rush, and you got to always start and give the rush some credit. The cornerbacks are experienced. You know, both J.C. and Bessie Jackson played last year. We've got 2 new safeties. Of course, Jimmy Rogers is a fifth-year strong safety. He's played a lot. So Tim Peoples is really the only inexperienced player playing in the whole coverage, and he can run good, and he's a good, tough kid.
Yeah, they're an exciting football team. We'll be back with the third quarter right after this. Start the third quarter with Jagger to kick it off, and he's kicking with the wind at his back. Drills it a yard deep in the end zone, but Auburn's going to return it 15 yards.
Another big play for the kickoff return team. Ronnie Milas made the initial tackle, and that anytime you get the team inside the 20, that's a big play for kickoff team.
Scott up the middle for 6. Now, they come out just running the football right at you again. Is that what you thought they would do here to start the second half?
Well, with the score, I thought they might open up a little bit more.
Second and 4.
This here really runs the clock down, and unless they can get big chunks. Fono on the first tackle, Rogers on that second tackle. It's Reggie.
Third and 1. Scott it right in. He will pick up 3.
And that's also Reggie Rogers, Stefono, and Bestie Jackson on the tackle, so that's...
Now, Stefono in for Timmy Amber.
Yeah, I played most of the game. Tim just played the first couple of series. This is a big play here by Brad Muster. Get a 25-yard gain before Tim Peoples can bring him down.
Now, why does this play work?
Well, it's a trap play, and again, we just don't have the experience in there now of Kurkowski and the Amber that we would have if they were not injured.
So first and 10 now at the Washington 48 for Stanford. Here's Scott again, this time for 2. This is going to be the shortest quarter we've ever seen. It was really short.
Fono and Small on that tackle.
Second and 8. Morris. He's going to pick up 4 on the play. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 4 now at the Washington 42 for Stanford. They trailed 27-3.
This little reverse on, and we happen to have a blitz. So, that's just having the best call up. We've got 2 linebackers in the backfield, so there's no way that play is going to go. So.
That's tough for a runner. He looks and there's just nothing there.
And you're hoping on a reverse. You really got him fooled.
Yeah. 4th and 10. Robinson to kick it. And it's a 25-yarder.
Jimmy Rogers almost blocked it again. We get a 5-yard penalty. They were within the 2-yard area. You have to give a punt receiver.
Here's Finney running right at you from the low angle.
That's a good first down play. We run a trap right back at him and pick up 10 yards. Good interior blocking in there. Again, that's Al Robertson and Dan Ernest. We've got Tim Burnham in there. Now, we elect to come back with a little bootleg pass, and they've got Darren Veris right upfield in our face, and we can't get him blocked.
2nd and 10. So now your situation, you're going to have to throw. You're going to feel in 2nd and 10 outside.
Yeah, we hit Jock out in the weak flat, but they react very well, and we just we can't gain gain a yard.
So 3rd and 9 now at 41. Millen looking for Danny Green and threw it behind him. So you're going to have to
again, we would not have had a first down. I think that was about a 5 or 6 yard completion.
I think a lot of people wonder why throw that pass that's short of the first down.
Well, we've got people beyond that too. We just don't have time. They had a linebacker rush scheme on, and you don't have time to get the ball in the intermediate zone. 40-yard kick by Thane Cleveland, which again, it sets it up Stanford on the 19, so they've got a long way to go.
Muster, he'll pick up only 2.
A little off-tackle play, and pretty well played. Small, Kelly, Tafono.
146 yards rushing by Mustard in the game. Buckley throwing to James.
We had a strong safety cry shown here and good coverage, but there was just excellent execution on their part. Good throw, good catch, and like I said, JC was right there.
1st and 10 at the 35. Scott running around the left side for 3 yards.
Jimmy Rogers did a good job of supporting this. He just destroyed the lead blocker and made the play. It was a 3-yard gain.
2nd and 7. Buckley throwing complete, and he got up off the ground and caught the pass.
He fell right at the last minute. We had it pretty well surrounded. We got a zone. You can see we got 4 people around it, but good execution on Stanford's part. They come right back with a trap play again. We hold it to 2 yards.
2nd and 8 at the 44.
Holmes and Albert on that play, and they've seen the trap, and those 2 guys are a little more experienced when they're in there.
Buckley throwing deep. It's complete for 34 yards.
We're in a zone, and Jimmy bit up on a shorter route, Jim Rogers, and they got in behind him, and we give up a 34-yard pass. It is really a fundamental basic play that they shouldn't get. If we're doing what we should do with the basic coverage. 5-yard gain there, Peoples and Rogers in the tackle.
2nd and goal now at the Washington 5. Mustard
makes a good cut there. We're getting pretty well stacked up on an off-tackle play, but he still gets 2 out of nothing. That's Rogers, Kelly, Tafono.
Now, they had a penalty against him, so now it's 3rd and goal. Mustard on the left side, and he loses 2.
Yeah, that helps. And we angled into this, and just hit this perfect call defensively again. Jim Lambert did a great job of signal calling there, and
Harmon's going to kick, and this is the first field goal he's missed this year.
That's a good place for him to miss. Field goal wasn't going to help much anyway.
No, it wasn't. I was surprised he didn't go for it. 1st and 10 at the 20. I think the Stanford Rooters were too.
We got Finney on a sweep. Jock Robinson did a very good job of blocking. I think in a lot of cases Finney's going to get a lot more out of that when he gets a little more experience.
No gain. Finney again up the middle. Now 3rd and 7 at the 23. And Millen back to throw. And there's nothing there. Now you're going to have defensive back. Yeah, now what happened?
Well, he just pushed off. He was very careless. He had good position. I don't know why he did it. Our defensive backs do that some too, and we really have to get on them. But, well, this play right here, this is a quick out, and this really sets up the touchdown play we're going to come with later. We could see that cornerback had the deep third, and he's up there stopping an out route. So we're going to come back to it in a little bit. That's Jock on an off tackle play.
Okay, he picks up 8 yards. 1st and 10 now at the 40.
Finney Green and Maher, good blocks. Good to see our wide receivers getting in on the blocking. They made some key blocks. And I guess, again, we can throw to Jack. We've got to use all of our backs, and there's another 6-yard gain.
So now it is 2nd and 4 at 46. Finney, the right tackle.
Good move. Just a good block by Robinson, but they've got a guy free, and Rick makes a good inside cut right there. You can see his strength, breaking tackles. He can pick up yards after you hit him.
You always say he's just a step away from breaking just a big play.
And I think he's going to get him before it's all over. This is a counter play by Cookie Jackson for 4 yards.
So it's 2nd and 6 at the 45. There comes Jack on the draw. This is good for 12.
Yeah, they ran a crash away from our draw. See that linebacker go right there, Wyman? Now we've got amazing hole right here. There's not very many people left. So we had the best call we could have up.
So Jock Robinson gets 12 yards. Quarter comes to an end. Washington still leading by a score of 27-3. I think it's the only time this season you've been shut out in the 3rd quarter, but that had to be the shortest quarter maybe this year.
Well, not a lot of passes, and a lot of the passes that were thrown were completed.
Now, you were talking about setting up that play. Did you talk about that at the end of the quarter, that, okay, fine, we're going to be able to do this little thing? And
yeah, that's exactly what we did. We gave Hugh one read, in other words, one coverage read, and if we got what we had hoped to, then we were going to go with it.
Okay, you will like the next play. We'll show it to you right after this. You're going to like? Watch this. Pumps once, then throws, and Danny Green is just wide open.
Yeah, the cornerback really jumped on the out, and it's a play we throw a good bit. We've always had it in, but this is what you come back to if they're really crowding it and playing it like in a man-to-man coverage.
So Danny Green scores, first play of the 4th quarter, and the extra point by Jagger, and Washington leads it 34-3. By this time, are you worried? I mean, it's all over by this time, isn't it?
No, we've played Stanford before, and we know they can come back and they can throw the ball. But we also, we're not ready to pull off everybody, but we don't start thinking about playing some young players.
Stanford takes over, 1st and 10 at their own 20. With the 4th quarter to go. And they get a lot of yards here. Scott for 7.
Yeah, that's a good play for them. The defense shouldn't give up this many yards with that kind of play. That's basic I formation play, and we've seen a lot of that.
Mustard, 17.
Mustard again, and just off tackle play. Jimmy Rogers makes a play, but
you see some different numbers in there too.
Yeah, we're playing some younger guys, but no, that's no excuse. We really get after Jeff James there. He might be lucky he didn't catch the football.
I think he just ducked down.
Yeah.
Yes, right between two people. Buckley back to throw again.
Freddie Small really got a good hit on the quarterback there. But he hung in there and threw the ball downfield to James Jackson on the coverage.
3rd and 10. Buckley going to the outside to Harry. This is complete for 17 yards and a first down.
It's a good play for him. We're in zone coverage. They just hit a flanker underneath route. Kelly and Miles make the play, but after 17. Park in the middle now. Kalana Park, trap play for 8.
This is a long drive for Stanford. Muster, left tackle, he gets 1.
Now, I think this was a 17-play drive, and you'd like to think that people can't do that to you, but Kelly, Rogers, and Peoples on the tackle.
3rd and 1. Buckley on the keeper to pick up the first down.
A little stronger in there from Ono and Crone, so we get 2 plays of 1. Now we come right back on first down. They get an 8-yard gain off a trap play. It's Rogers, Kelly, Hadley all in on the tackle there.
So it's 2nd and 2 now at the 21, the Washington 21. They'll come back to Muster up the middle for only a yard.
See what they're doing? They're into a 1-back backfield with all their sets in motion, and it spreads you out a little bit, and it's one of the things I think that helps make their running game effective. 1-man backfield again, just a dive play to Muster for only 1.
And so delay a game against Stanford, however, on the next play, so it's 1st and 15 now at the Washington 24.
Well, that helps us. We get good pressure. We got a safety crash by Jimmy Rogers, but Buckley dodges it, but he does get rid of the ball. He just throws it out of bounds, so we got 2nd and 15.
Stanford trying to get in the scoreboard.
Another good play. Muster up the middle on a back to the trap play, and Ono and Crone, now 2 of our young defensive linemen in there playing.
So 3rd and 13 at the 22. Buckley to throw, time to throw. Good catch over the middle.
Yeah, this we're in man underneath coverage, and Albert Spono is about as close as you can get to him without having him covered. Just about a half a step away. So that's a real big gain. That's 18-yarder before Peoples Spono can make the tackle.
Okay, first down goal to go at the 4. Park up the middle. We're only 4.
And Andy Famono gets penetration in the backfield. He stops that play.
Now Ronnie Holmes out of there now. And
penetration again by Joe Kelly. So on the counter play, Alvord and Kelly stop it for no gain. So we got 2 good plays, but they're going to come back and
3rd and goal. He makes a good move, another good move, and throws it, and that's really good play.
Yeah,
about this play.
Right? You really, we've got heat on him. We've got excellent coverage, but he just comes out and makes the play.
Just missing there.
You can see we've got 2 players right there at the ball, and Jeff James does a good job of catching it.
So Stanford scores. They go for 2, throw it back corner of the end zone, incomplete. So it's 34-9 with 6:58 to play, as you see. Harmon will kick it off. Onside kick, and recovered by Washington.
I don't think there's any question. Their coach knows right now that we've got it. Plus, it hit one of their players before it went 10 yards, so that's automatically our ball.
So 1st and 10 at midfield. Cookie Jackson.
And what we'd like to do now is just run the ball a little bit and run some clock down. Let's get out of here. Let's play some young guys. But
Paul Sicaro in a quarterback.
And he overthrows the counter pass. So and we do now. We stop the clock here twice in a row. So we really don't take any time off it. Got a lot of pressure on Paul, and there's not much else just to get it out of bounds where nobody can intercept it and don't take the loss.
So 4th and 7 at the Stanford 47. Thane Cleland to kick.
Get an excellent punt into the wind. It's 36-yarder, but it's what we call a sky kick. We're trying to bring it down right there around the 10, and so Harry fair catches it. So they've got a long way to go.
Buckley.
They'll get there in a hurry, though.
See, he has time to throw. Bang.
Now we're in a 3-man rush, 5 coverage people, and it's Pearson on the tackle, 12-yard gain.
So 1st and 10 at the 23. Buckley's going to keep.
A 3-man rush, put a little pressure on him, and he gained 6. Bruce Crone makes the tackle.
Did you have penalty on this?
They had a penalty on us, and I saw it, and I just could not believe it.
Really?
It's a definite running play. Block, run all the way. Their wide receiver is blocking our cornerback, and his hands are out, and they're calling us for defense holding. And now here we make a blunder. We're in 3 deep zone, but you don't see our 3 deep zone people. Again, it has the appearance of J.C. Pearson being beat, but he's 20 yards again out of his zone, helping somebody else. So they go for 2, and pleased that we were able to stop the 2 go for 2 plays.
34-15. 5:09 to go in the ball game. No, Stanford score in a hurry.
Yeah, it just starts to get a little
Onside kick.
sloppy, and you know, you just don't. You know, I don't like to see that. We do get the onside kick. That's David Trimble.
So Washington now, 1st and 10 at the 49. Finney for only 1.
It's a trap play. Pretty well played again. Dave Wyman, good linebacker for Stanford.
Stanford's offside, so 2nd and 4 at the 45. Robinson, he's going to pick up 6 and a first down.
A little off tackle play. Maher and Robertson really made good blocks for Jock Robinson.
Sicaro.
We were going back that little tight end tailback pass over the middle, but we really didn't get a chance to get it executed.
So 2nd and 10 at the 39. Sicaro thrown to the outside, incomplete. And it was going to be a personal foul against Stanford on the play, and it did get a little rough down there at the end.
Well, I don't know why. One of their players tackled Paul Sicaro and pushed his head down after he tackled him. You know, he made a legal hit, but then he just was kind of rubbing it in, and I think the official made a good decision. And the players ought to not be able to get away with that.
Robinson for 13.
Finney, Maher, and Robertson, good blocks.
1st and 10 now at the 11. And that's Finney for 3.
Again, Robertson and Ernestine and Maher.
So 2nd and 7 at the 8. Jock Robinson, watch this run. It's incredible.
I thought he might score after he finally broke out of all that. It's just, there's not a lot there. Normally in a controlled game where the score is really important, we would not want him to do this. Take what you can, but in a situation like this, he keeps his balance. He keeps looking around. If he loses 4 or 5 yards, it's not going to kill us. But so he risked a little bit to try and gain some.
He picks up 5, brings up 3rd and 2. Jock Robinson loses a yard right there, so it's 4th and 3, and you just elect to kick field goal wide.
Yeah, we were debating whether to put 3 up or maybe go for it, either get a touchdown or leave it right there. But we thought we'd just go ahead and give Jeff Jager a little work.
Okay, we'll show you the kickoff and one more play before we get out of this. That's Jager to kick it off. Fumble, ball loose.
At least the 3rd fumble on the kickoff.
Yes. And they've been a pretty good kickoff team, too.
Yeah,
they really have.
The return team was leading the league, and their kickoff coverage we thought was the best we'd seen.
Buckley to throw.
David Rill, the freshman.
Yes, he was looking for the goal line there, wasn't he? 14-yard return. Here's a quick look at it again.
This was tipped. Albert Tafono made a good break on the ball, but couldn't hold it. And David's just in the right spot at the right time. See him puts that ball away and works out around, runs a little sweep. Reggie Rogers trying to get over there and give him a little help.
And that's about it. Washington wins the football game. You see the final there, 37-15. Must feel good after that ball game.
Any win feels good, I'll guarantee you.
We'll talk about the Rose Bowl race and go to the locker room, talk to the players right after. The locker room, talk to the players. This is what they had to say. Listen.
Yeah, it was a big important win. I think the thing that we were looking at is Stanford is a good team. They had a hard schedule, and we knew what they could have did offensively. That's why this past week we just worked really hard in practice.
They pretty much showed what we expected. They play mostly base stuff. We come out in 2 days and try and see about 20, 25 coverages. So they didn't show us anything that we hadn't seen. It's just gets down to just executing and doing what you can. And we got the great turnover situation in the first half that we capitalized on, and got not touchdowns all the time, but the field goals, and kind of got them in a passing situation where they're going to have to come back. And so that was probably the thing in the ballgame.
I was happy to come down here and play in front of my family, and the guys did well. I'm real pleased with the way we played today.
Yeah, it's fun to win, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun. I just hope we keep on winning.
Oh, I was happy with the ball game. I was happy that I got an interception. Defense, we had a little trouble second half, but we'll get that corrected. But we're happy with the win and the way things are going.
Was it just about what you expected from Stanford? Because you just dominated the play there for a while.
Yeah, it was, what we expected. It was all on film, and they came out and did the same thing they did on film, and we were pretty much ready for as far as in passing and stuff.
Last week we were struggling a little bit, and like I said after the game last week, we're going to have to get back to the drawing board and really see if we can work on a few things, and I think we did that, and our offense came out as a whole unit this week and really played well.
To make up for what happened in 1982 here.
Yeah, I sure did. Last time I was down here, it was one big disaster, and I was part of that, and it was probably the worst feeling I've ever had. And it sure is fun to go out there and put a lot of points on the board and walk away with a victory.
Could be #1 this week. You heard what happened, Oklahoma, Texas.
Yeah, shoot, that'd be great. As long as we're #1 at the end of the season, it doesn't matter to me when it is. It's just, at the end of the season, that'd be great.
Congratulations. And tying a Washington record, Chuck Nelson's record of 15 straight games with a field goal. You must feel good.
Yeah, feels good.
Any doubt in your mind when you got out there because you had to kick a long one?
No doubt. It felt good today. Nice hot weather and on the grass. I was confident.
I feel pretty good, but that second half kind of brought us down because we gave them too much yardage, and I think they ended up something like 423 yards. So that's not good at all. So I think coach is going to get on us a little bit about giving up that much yardage.
Personally, I wasn't real happy with my play today. I played too tentatively, and I think there may be a few other people that had breakdowns in spots.
We're talking about the fact that, you could be number one. Texas and Oklahoma tied today.
It doesn't matter. It's not going to help us next week, Eddie.
Oh, we'll talk about Oregon, the next opponent, and the Pac-10 Rose Bowl race right after. 15 win over Stanford. They're now 6-0 on the year. Let's go to the scoreboard right now quickly and show you the other scores in the Pac-10. UCLA 27, Washington State 24, and they let that get away right at the end, Washington State.
Apparently they were lining up to kick a field goal to win it, and they had snap problems, and boy, that's just a devastating defeat. When you get UCLA at home like that and have them defeated.
Oh, that's quite a game. USC over Oregon, 19-9.
Sounds as though Oregon played USC very well. Played them dead even or maybe even a little better.
We'll talk about Oregon in just a moment. Also, Oregon State over California 9-6. And after last week, you knew Oregon State's going to win football games.
Well, as I mentioned, some of the players after the game and the coaches, if they play like that every week, they're going to win a lot of ball games.
Let's look at the schedule. Well, first, here's the Pac-10 race to the Rose Bowl. USC on top. They're 3-0. Arizona with the asterisk next to it. They're ineligible to play in the Rose Bowl this year. In postseason play, Washington 2-0 and UCLA 1-1. The Big Ten, it looks like this right now. Ohio State, Purdue, Michigan, and Iowa all tied with conference records of 3-1. Now, let's go to the schedule for this next week. Pac-10 schedule, Arizona at USC. That could be an interesting game.
Two good football teams, and right now, Arizona's playing as well as anyone in our league.
Oregon State at Arizona State.
Arizona State needs a victory bad. They had a bye this week, and Oregon State's going to be fired up.
Also coming up, UCLA at California.
A big rival game, and both teams obviously will be trying very hard to get a victory.
Washington State at Stanford. Interesting game there.
Well, it's what can you say? We played one, we play the other one. I think we've shown in our league with all the scores that on a Saturday anybody can play with anyone else. So it should be a good ball game.
And the game that everybody's talking about here in town, Oregon at Washington. And the Ducks, they lose 19-9. They go 4-0 to start the season, but they have a lot of people injured, I understand, right now.
Well, I've heard that, and I really don't know at this stage, how many of those players will get back. But it doesn't really matter when we play Oregon. It's a shootout, and we've had some very tough games against them.
Why is that? I mean, why have one particular team like in Oregon? You come in and it's really a physical knockdown, drag-out affair.
Well, I think it goes back to the one word. It's called rivalry.
Simple as that. What do you do to prepare now for an Oregon this week? Well, first, injury-wise, how do you stand?
Well, we should be in pretty good shape if we can get through the week. I think the players that were banged up last week and the players that were caught up a little bit in the Stanford game should be ready by Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest. So the important thing now will be to rehab the injured players, get through Tuesday and Wednesday tough practices.
Now, you give away a lot of yards on the ground against Stanford. Stanford comes up with a couple of big pass plays. What do you work on this week now? What do you concentrate on to get ready for an Oregon?
Well, I think we have to first, break down the complete Oregon attack and find out what they're doing best right now. We have not had their film, so I don't have any idea yet what they've been doing. I know they've got a bright young quarterback, and so we'll have to see if they throw a little better or if they run better.
It should be an interesting afternoon against Oregon out there. You can think back on a lot of crazy games between the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, they usually are interesting.
They certainly are. You're going to check the papers out tomorrow to see where you are in the polls?
I normally will read the papers, but I'm not too concerned about the polls. I'm like the players.
I'll tell you, you've talked to them pretty well. Next week, Oregon against Washington. We'll have the highlights for you on Sunday afternoon. I'm Bruce King for Don James. Good afternoon.
Husky football has been brought to you by the brewers of Mountain Fresh Rainier and Rainier Light, two great tastes in beer, and Rainier's Western Washington distributors. And by your local Puget Sound Honda dealers, where the quality goes on and on. And by Seafirst Bank. Expect excellence for all your banking needs at Seafirst.